everyone. Welcome back to Love and Life Sorted. I'm Dr. Sandy Toe, and today we're going to be talking about the manifestation do's. Yeah, so last week we talked about the don'ts, right? And the number one biggest don't is taking yourself out on a solo date, remember? So let's do a little recap on this. After I had published my episode and published my post on IG, I got a lot of feedback. And apparently, a lot of you guys agree that taking yourself out on a solo date gives the wrong message to the universe. Yeah, it's like telling it that you don't need to find a partner and you're happy dating yourself. Yeah. So remember, we have to be consistent in our thoughts and desires and actions if we want to manifest the reality that we want. So don't go off and do something the opposite of what you actually want, because that's going to be the reality that you will attract. So, yeah, when in doubt, always remember to tell yourself, to be consistent in your thoughts and feelings and actions, right? So only do something that you want to bring into the world, into your reality, right? So if in reality your wish is to find a partner, then, do things that are conducive to it and not against it. And no matter how tempted we are to jump on the bandwagon of taking ourselves out on a solo date, just because a lot of influencers do it and people are getting so many likes and views and followers just because they're doing that, right? But this is not what we want, right? So don't do it if it doesn't align with your true desires. Yeah, so way to go, manifestation crew. Right. So, in order to manifest the partner, we have to think, act, and feel like we already have one, right? So, there are many different ways to do that. Yeah, I want to share with you one single thing that I can say that I invented because I haven't read about it anywhere on any manifestation book or online or anything. But, it was something that I had tried out myself 10 years ago when I was trying to manifest my partner. Yeah. So, bearing in mind that I have to do the best as I can to act and feel like I have a partner already, right? So, what is the most visceral feeling that I can get out of this, right? I guess besides pouring 2 cups of water, putting 2 pillows on my bed, what else can I do that really signifies that I have a partner, or even more so, more significantly, that I am married? Yeah, so I'm trying to manifest the life that I want if I am married, right? So what could be the most visceral feeling of that, right? So it must be wearing a ring on my left hand fourth finger. That's the ring finger, the ring that every married person wears their wedding ring, female or male. Right? So I have a lot of rings. Yeah. So I love buying accessories, especially in the day. I have this whole collection of accessories and including rings and stuff. Rings I bought myself as souvenirs whenever I go traveling. And, there's costume jewelry and there's real jewelry, there's heirlooms, there's everything, right? So I have this whole array of rings that I would always, wear when I go out to accessorize with outfits and everything. And I would always wear it on either my right hand or, another finger. That I would always try to avoid my ring finger on my left hand, because I would always think that, well, it's for married people, right? So obviously I'm not married, so I'm not gonna wear that on my finger. It's not my right to do, So before, I always had this feeling, I would never wear a ring on my left hand fourth finger, right? But after I tried the manifestation thing, I was thinking, why not? So if I'm just sitting at home, trying on clothes and trying on my rings and earrings and rings and bracelets and everything, why don't I pick up a ring and try to slip it on my left hand fourth finger and see how that feels? And that was exactly what I started doing. So once I started doing that, I became unstoppable. Right. So every day I would take the rings, any ring that there is. It doesn't have to be like a typical engagement ring or diamond ring sort of type of ring. It could just be any costume jewelry ring, right? So I would slip on the rings, one by one to see which one of them fits on my left hand fourth finger because not all of them fit. Like some of them only fit on the third finger, some on the second finger, some on the pinky, right? So yeah, I would take all of the rings that I could find in my collection that could fit into my fourth finger, and I would try them on every day to get that feeling of yeah, wearing a wedding ring. And believe me, like once you started, there's no going back. Yeah, you may think that this is all like sort of ridiculous, when you hear about it, right? Without having tried before, you may think, oh, it's so ridiculous, or why am I doing something like that? Like I'm not even married, or why am I like secretly trying on rings, in my room? You know what I mean? Yeah, and the reason well, you should do that is because you don't want to be deterred from it. You don't want to get like weird glances from your family members, like if you're living with them. You don't want your sister to barge in and laugh at you or something, or you don't want your mom to come in and ask like what are you doing, and you get all apprehensive and get all deterred and get all put off by it and you stop doing it. Yeah, you don't want that. So just close the door in your room, take out your rings and try them on to see which one fits on your fourth finger, and specifically your left hand, because that's the ring finger where you wear your wedding ring. And trust me, it will bring your energy level to a whole new different level. Yeah, the vibration will totally like shoot out of the roof. Yeah, but yeah, believe it. Like, you will not believe it before you do it. I know it really sounds weird, but it's not because I tried it. I tried and tested it. I sort of I went all the way and I gave it a go. I don't know. I was just propelled to do it one day, taking the rings out, thinking, I never put it on this finger, right? But I will do it uh, because that is what I want the feeling of. I really want to feel what it feels like to be married and wearing that ring on my wedding ring finger every single day. Yeah. Oh, before, actually I have a lot of rings that fit on my fourth finger, but I always wore it on my right hand to avoid wearing it on my ring finger, right? Just thinking that I don't have the right to do it just because I'm not married. But hey, who cares? Like you're shut out into like within the confines, the safe haven of your own room. Like no one has to see you doing it, right? So no need to be ashamed or anything because you're doing it for yourself. Remember, you're doing it for yourself, and manifesting a partner. It's quite like a personal matter. Like you don't have to go off telling everyone that you're doing it. It's a different thing telling people to introduce people to you. Like that's a different story. So there's like two different levels to it because when I share how I found a partner, there's one layer to it is manifestation, which I'm doing like privately on my own. Like no one actually needs to hear about it because not everyone believes in it, right? Yeah, you don't want to share something, go through all the trouble of explaining something to non-believers because it's just a waste of time and it's meaningless. Your time can be better spent perfecting your manifestation skills for yourself, right? And you're doing it for yourself, and it doesn't like need to concern other people. And if they don't believe it, then so be it. It's not for them, right? And you don't want them discouraging you anyway. So it's better to keep it yourself. Right. So the manifestation thing is your own thing. And the public thing, like another layer, the top layer of it, is asking people to introduce people to you, to introduce potential partners to you. Like that's a whole new different story. Yeah, you're free to ask as many people as possible. The more, the merrier. Yeah, and again, no need to be ashamed about it. It's just like It's just like going on a dating app. Like a lot of people do that, right? So no shame about that too, right? So back to the manifestation, like your own private little world, right? So no need to be discouraged about doing something just because it sounds ridiculous to other people. Yeah, so I have tried and tested this, and that is why I feel that it's so vital to tell you about it. Yeah, when I was working at university, I was teaching at university. I would put my ring on my it's either on my right hand fourth finger because rings like they don't fit on every finger, right? So if it originally fit on a fourth finger, it wouldn't like suddenly fit on the second finger, right? So for rings that fit, yeah, well I can share this basically like this very practical knowledge with you. Usually, like your rings, if you look at your hand or if you have rings anyway, usually the rings that fit on your fourth finger, they would fit on your third finger, but they wouldn't fit on the second finger because the second finger is seemingly a little bit thicker, wider than those two. Yeah, at least that's my anatomy, right? So for me, when I go to work, for the rings that would fit on my fourth finger, I would slip them into to my third finger. Yeah, so it's either right hand fourth finger or left hand or right hand third finger. Yeah, so that people don't give the wrong idea that I am married in public life, right? Because I don't want potential suitors to not pursue me because thinking that I'm married, right? So it's not because of like shame or embarrassment or thinking that oh, I don't want people to think that I'm trying on rings and pretending to be married, right? So yeah, that's not my idea at all. Like my idea was like really practical. It was just that I don't want people to think that to get deterred from asking me out because they thought I was married. Okay, so you never know who you run into, in day-to-day life at work or something. There may be like this hot new professor coming in, hot single new professor coming in, right? So, or a hot new mature student sitting in your class or something. So we don't want to rule out any of our opportunities, right? So in real life, like even if you're getting a coffee at Starbucks, remember to not be wearing your ring on your ring finger. Right? Yeah. So because like some people don't ask, like they're maybe too shy to ask if you're married. Like that would be sort of awkward. Right? So if they see you like in line, they wouldn't just, ask you, oh, I would really want to ask you out, but are you married? That would just be really weird. Like no one does that. So they would just assume that you're married and not ask for your number or something, right? So you don't want that to happen in day-to-day life. So remember to not be trying on rings when you're out. Yeah, so two reasons why you should keep it to yourself and keep it in your room is because first of all you don't want to discourage potential suitors. And second of all, you don't want people to be asking you questions and trying to discourage you or laugh at you, right? To discourage you from manifesting your partner, from doing something that's like the closest feeling you can ever get to being married. But having said that, it was so funny that when I went to work one day, I met like this new woman, single woman colleague. Like she's a bit older. Well, she's like significantly older, but single. And yeah, she's been around for a long time, but well, I guess she never like laid eyes on me. I was new, and then she couldn't really be bothered to associate, except for one time. I think she was forced to because we were at like an event. Yeah, so I guess like her way of making conversation was, oh, are you married or something like you're married, right? Yeah, so I was like, well, I was actually secretly thinking, well, no, like why would you think that, right? You never actually bothered to talk to me privately or any you never actually bothered to have a conversation with me, right? But interestingly, like yeah, so I looked at my fingers, like thinking that I must have put it in the wrong finger, but I didn't. It was on my third finger, as I always put it, right? And then so I answered. So here's the thing, like I didn't give like this really like definitive and like very clear cut. No way. Of course I'm not married. Yeah, I didn't answer like that at all. Instead, I said. Not yet. I think that was what I said. Like I gave like a somewhat cryptic response. Like first of all, it was because I didn't know this person, and I don't think she had any intention to actually get to know me. So yeah, it wasn't someone close at all, or someone who wanted to be friends with me. So I just gave a cryptic response. Not yet. Yeah. So that is exactly what you should do too. So if in the event that your vibration level is so high that people are starting to think that you are married just because you're giving out that vibe, yeah, not because you're wearing like it on the wrong finger, then you should actually not give like a very definitive no, of course not. Of course I'm not married. Yeah, yeah, don't say that. Not because we want to lie, but because remember, like the whole idea, the whole rule of manifestation is to start like living the reality that you want, right? So, like the fact that people are thinking that you're married means that you're giving out the right vibe. Like you're this close, you're this much closer to getting the reality that you want, right? So you're this close to attracting that reality of being married to your soulmate, right? So you don't want to ruin it. You don't want to jeopardize it by like totally ruling it out because we assume that this is something that will happen very soon. So I think that not yet is quite a good response. For people who don't know you that well, right? So yeah, say something like, "No, not yet." Yeah, I think that's like a perfect legitimate response because it's not lying, right? But it's also giving yourself some leeway that there is the whole big possibility that you are going to, because you want yourself to be very close to that idea, right? So it means that you're like really succeeding in living out that reality of being married when people are actually asking you already, right? It's because they can feel the energy, they can feel the vibration. Like you've gone this far as to achieving it. So, don't ruin it, don't ruin the moment, right? Don't cut your vibration down. Uh, yeah, and so it's not lying that you are, but it's also not ruling out the possibility that you will be very soon, that you will meet your life partner really soon, sooner than you know it. Yeah, so that makes like really makes sense, right? So, I think that like my whole response really, changed the game. What was it like a real game changer? Because like shortly after this whole episode of the ring and the misconception that I'm married and everything, like I started to I got very close to meeting my husband. Yeah, so shortly after that, I think it was within a few months, like after like I really raised my vibration, my friends introduced me to the man that was to become my husband. We went out as a group and we became a couple. So yeah, if you really, really want to raise your vibration, do the ring thing. Yeah, try the ring thing. There's no hurt in trying it, right? I'm not asking you to do it in public or anything, and get ridiculed or anything. So the only person that can't get past it is you if you're the only one, in your room doing it. And trust me, the moment that you try putting it on, there's no going back. Like you'll get what I mean by that very visceral feeling. So this combines something very visceral and physical, right? So it's a feeling plus action. Like you will like it so much, that feeling, that you don't want to take it off. Trust me. Yeah. So I've had to, whenever I have to go out, I have to pry it off from that finger and put it on another finger. But I really don't want to because I really, really do want to keep it there because like it just gives me the like a really warm, fuzzy feeling that I am married and I'm living that life right now. Ah, I know. So really, if you have trouble taking it off, you really don't want to take it off, and trust me, that really might be the feeling that you're gonna get. Uh, Take a picture because nowadays we have like a phone, it's so easy. Take a picture of that magnificent ring on your left hand fourth finger, your ring finger, and put it in your folder, like your private folder so you can look at it all the time. That can be magical as well. Yeah, because you are actually putting it out in reality, right? In prints, like in pictures. So it's really very similar to writing something down, right? With the power of words, the power of images as well. So you're actually already putting the image of that out into the world, into existence, into physical existence. Yeah. So instead of it living in your brain, it is actually put out into physical existence. Okay, so other than this number one do of manifestation that you must try, like for girls and boys all the same, because everyone, regardless of gender, wears their wedding ring on that same finger, right? So yeah, do give it a try and tell me how it feels if you could. Yeah, like I can't wait to hear like feedback about this. Okay, so other things that you can do to boost your vibration level to the vibration that is the same as the one that you will get when you do have a partner, right? So that's all about that's the rule of manifestation, right? So living out the reality that you want and raising your vibration to the level that would be when you do have someone in your life, right? So yeah, we're not just looking for a partner, but we're looking for a life partner. Yeah, we're not looking for a casual date, but we're looking for a marriage partner, someone that like a soulmate for us, like someone who's serious, someone that we can be with for life, right? So, that is the action, that is the feeling that we want to put out into the world so that it will attract the reality to us, right? So, yeah, other things that I've talked about is putting two pillows on your bed. And it doesn't matter if you're sleeping in a small bed that's for like a single one person bed. Yeah, I wouldn't actually advise you to go out and buy like a whole new bed because like that's going to be like a big, huge endeavor. And that's going to be costly, right? To just buy a whole new different bed and mattress. But instead, I think you can just put two pillows on the bed. Yeah, so because sometimes two people can stuff into one bed all the same, right? So try putting two pillows on the bed. It doesn't matter if it's like overstuffed or something. And I don't mean two pillows on top of each other, right? Because it's not just for you propping yourself up reading a book at night. It's for a partner, like welcoming a second person into your life, right? Who is sleeping next to you like what married people do, right? So I want you, regardless of how small your bed is, to put two pillows side by side on the bed. Yeah. So either buy another pillow or put that pillow that you use to prop up yourself vertically, like put it on the side that pillow. Put it beside your pillow that you sleep on. Yeah, so you're effectively making room for someone else into your life, right? So you're not trying to live like a resolutely single life, right? So if you're always forever sleeping in a single bed with like just one pillow, well, where's your partner going to sleep, right? So if we're trying to live out the reality of being married, then you need to make room for another person. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if the pillow's squished or anything. It doesn't matter. It's not for like aesthetic reasons or you're not going to post it online or something, right? So yeah, I gave you an example of that too. I have like made a video of the 8 rules of manifestation on IG where, I showed you what it would be looking like to put an extra pillow next to yours on a single bed. Yeah, using my son's bed as a prop. Right, right. So yeah, he has a small bed, for a kid, but I try to stuff 2 pillows next to each other. And so what if it doesn't look very aesthetic? That's not our goal here, right? So our goal is to make room for someone into our life. Right. And also, I think you've read this before somewhere. A lot of people talk about it is making room in your wardrobe and your drawers and your cabinets for another person's stuff. So yeah, if you have like a sock drawer, it pays to actually like shift some of your socks over to like a side so that you can make some room, like a little bit of space for someone else's socks. So similarly for like your wardrobe where you hang your clothes, like maybe try to shift them to one side so there's like I know, like hang a few more empty hangers. Yeah, so hang some go get some empty hangers if you don't have any. Well, because like in my house, I can like rarely find empty hangers all the time. I don't know what happened to them, but I keep having to buy new hangers. Yeah. So yeah, get some empty hangers and hang them next to your dresses and or your shirts or something, depending if you're a girl or a guy. Yeah. So hang some empty hangers next to them. It's as if like you're paving out like a new space for someone to come into your life. Yeah, so inviting them to come hang their clothes next to yours. Yeah, and it's really a significant deal to share your wardrobe with someone. I don't know if you think so, but it is because like it's something like it's like a sacred space. And we want like our clothes in our drawer in our wardrobe, like we don't have a lot of unless you have like a walk-in closet and like a huge closet. But sometimes we just like have to stuff our stuff into our closet, and there's hardly any space. So the fact that we're making space for someone to put their clothes like that means a lot to us. I think even in your fridge. Yeah, like talking about making space, like what I can think of is like in your drinks compartment, like there may be like some place to store drinks on the side of your fridge. Maybe like leave some room, like don't stuff it all. Like leave some room for someone else's drinks. Like maybe you have different tastes in drinks. Yeah, so leave a little bit of space for your significant other half to store their drinks. Yeah, that's significant too, I think. Yeah, and do I need to mention again, that another thing that you should do to avoid giving the message that you want to spend every meal alone, yeah, is to, yeah, like no matter if you're sitting at home, like dining alone, or you're out at a restaurant dining alone, put two cups on the table. Yeah, so it doesn't actually, need a lot of energy to do that, right? So if you're out dining alone and you don't want it to look like a solo date, right? So basically, I would think that if you're not emphasizing it, it would work out anyway. Like, because we sometimes eat alone. Like that's perfectly normal. Maybe sometimes with a book, sometimes with our phone or something, sometimes with our laptop. Yeah, like we spend a lot of time eating alone. But in order, to raise your vibration again, right? We can do a little more than that, right? Is to put two cups on the table. Yeah, ask for another glass of water, or even ask for an empty cup. Yeah, because that wouldn't look weird at all. Like no one cares if you have two cups. Like who looks anyway? Yeah. Okay. So other things that I thought about that were good manifestation techniques. So another thing that I thought about, being inspired actually by someone by a comment on one of my manifestation posts on IG. Someone was talking about what about compiling like a playlist, right? Because I had talked about how Dua Lipa manifested her husband by singing and writing Training Season, right? So, it's like chanting it like a ritual, right? And manifesting the partner that she wants. So you can do that too. So either you can listen to songs like that, like Dua Lipa's song, if that's the type of partner that you also like want to manifest, to someone who can be your soulmate, right? So if you have like the same goals as her, yeah, listen to that. Like keep listening to that in order to raise your frequency and to like keep sending out that message to the universe, right? So that is also one way to manifest a partner. Yeah, so listening to songs like that on your playlist. And I would also think Taylor Swift's Wish List and Love Story. Those are also very positive, very like manifesting a partner sort of songs. Yeah, so I was thinking like if like I was manifesting a partner and needed to compile like a song list that I could listen to every day, those three would be at the top of my list. Yeah. So training season, wish list, and love story. And the song, there are actually a lot of heartbreak songs that I don't want you to include on your playlist because like that's not the vibe that we want to get. Yeah, probably you could listen to those breakup ballads or something when you're trying to get over the breakup. But after that, after you have gotten that out of your system, it's time to be listening to more upbeat and more positive, more manifesting a partner, inducing songs. Yeah, and also like refrain from listening to songs that are like overly about empowering yourself as a single person. Like that gives the same wrong message as taking yourself out on a solo date. It's actually like that in a song. Yeah, so I'm sorry if I think that like Miley Cyrus's "Flowers" is not the right song for that. Sorry because I actually love that song in real life, and since I'm not manifesting a partner, I listen to it all the time. Yeah, so it's about like sending yourself flowers. If no one is doing it for you, so I can get myself flowers, right? It's a sign of like being really empowered as a single person. I don't need anyone, and I can be happy on my own. Yeah, so it gives off that sort of feeling, and it's really the opposite of manifesting a partner. Okay, so yeah, so don't put that on your playlist if you want to manifest a partner. At least not for now. Like maybe after you've found a partner, you can listen to it all you want, right? So remember, the very first thing I told you to do in manifestation is to write down your wish to find a partner, right? So that was what I did in my, top 10 desires. I learned to do that in by reading Rhonda Byrne's The Secret. Yeah, so writing something down, it's like using the power of words to launch your wish into existence, right? And so after so another thing you can actually do besides writing your wish down that you want to find a partner, putting at the top of the list, is writing a letter to your friends as a follow-up. Writing a letter to your friends, telling them how you have already found a partner who is like your ideal partner and that you're happily married and so give some details that you like that you would love to have. So basically writing down, it's another form of writing down like the form of reality that you want to manifest. It would have the same effect. So yeah, I did that too. And I think I was taught to do that. It was either The Secret or The Magic. Yeah, both by Rhonda Byrne. Yeah, so that is a nice follow up to writing your wish down. So you're actually extending it. Yeah, so basically, again, like giving a very like a physical, like a very visceral physical feeling of your wish becoming a reality. Yeah. So you're living the reality already, right? And telling your friend about your married life. And you can be as creative as you want about it too, right? And I think like the universe has its way of giving you your wish. It may not like follow completely as you thought, right? It may not manifest exactly like how you thought it would be, but it has its way of delivering that to you. That's the whole, really the whole very fateful thing about it. Like, no matter what, as I say, like the outcome would be good. The outcome would be like a blissful one, and you just have to sit back and let the universe do its thing and to not obsess about it too much and just relax. And it will deliver the outcome that you want in its own way. So yeah, the thing about manifestation is you don't actually like you can't be like overly specific about it. Like you want this specific house that looks exactly like the image that you posted on your wall, right? So it's not gonna be exactly that. Or, maybe your soulmate, you thought, of an image of him or her. The universe may give you something that you may not have thought you had wanted. The universe may give you someone that it was not the person you had in mind, but again, like the outcome is the same. It's bliss, right? So it's a blissful outcome, but in the way that the universe will give you it, right? So it's really, really interesting how things will just work out the way that they're supposed to. So so the key is to not be overly specific about it and don't obsess about it and just trust in the divine power of it. Okay. And, sit back and relax and like do what you're meant to do, like do what you're supposed to do. And then what's meant to happen will happen as long as you don't go against it. So always remember to be consistent in your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your desires, the reality that you want to manifest. Yeah. So always keep that in mind. So thank you so much for being here. I can't believe it's our 40th episode, so it's time for a short break. But don't worry, we'll be back in a few weeks with tons of great new content. Meanwhile, you can find me on IG sharing tips and advice on manifestation, relationships, and partner choices. So see you there. If you haven't received my newsletter, there's still time to subscribe. I'll be talking more about manifestation stories, experiences, and techniques, and other stuff that I haven't covered in my podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to Love and Life Sorted so you don't miss our coming season. See you real soon, and happy manifesting! Bye!